Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on Midday Kentucky Eye Floaters. Something most of us have experienced. I know I have, Lisa has.
I've got it too.
So we wanted to bring in Dr. John Kitchens from Retina Associates of Kentucky to address these pesky floaters, tell us, when we need to worry and what we can do about it. So thank you for coming on today.
Thanks, Katie.
I think first we should cover what are floaters.
Yes.
Because it just happened to me, I think about a year or so ago, and I was so alarmed because I had never heard of it before. And then I found out it was fairly common, but what are floaters?
So floaters are a symptom that people have oftentimes from various things, condensations of the gel in the back of their eye, sometimes hemorrhage, basically just obscurations in their vision. In fact, it's difficult to describe them to someone who's never had them, but so many people have had them. If you say, hey, do you ever see a little squiggly moving around in your vision? They will say, yes, what is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How I discovered mine was reading. I was reading a book, and it was almost like the little bouncy ball was above the words as I would read. I was like, what is this? And that's when I discovered what it was, and I asked my eye doctor about it, and that's the conclusion that he came to. Now let me ask you this. Can floaters be a sign of something more concerning, something that we need to really, get on the handle with this?
Yeah, Lisa, they absolutely can. And I'll point out two scenarios in which they are very concerning. The first is a diabetic patient. If a diabetic patient starts to see lots of black or red floaters in their vision, that can represent a hemorrhage in the eye from new blood vessel growth, and that can be an emergency. We need to see those patients. The second is someone who in middle age, 50s, 60s, starts to see flashes and floaters, new onset, and then a shadow or curtain coming over their vision. That could represent a retinal detachment. Those two things absolutely have to be seen right away.
Wow.
And what if they come and go? Like, will floaters go away, or is that something that once you get them is a lifelong thing until it's addressed?
They're usually always going to be there, but they'll come out more often in certain lighting conditions. So when you have a white background or when you have a blue sky with clouds, you'll see more floaters, so they'll be more noticeable. At night, they're virtually not noticeable. So you may find that there's certain scenarios in which you see them more often.
And what are we seeing here on the screen? Walk us through this.
Yeah, so what we're seeing here is actually a procedure that we do to remove floaters.
So you can get rid of them?
We can get rid of floaters. Now, there are a few issues with removing the floaters that we want to talk about, but I will tell you that someone who has really bothersome floaters, and there are some people that will have floaters that have been around, they're there 90% of the time. They'll see a car coming and the car will disappear into the floater.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous,
Wow.
or they can't read because it's so aggravating. We're talking debilitating floaters. We can actually go in and remove those.
And so does it have to be, how serious is serious, I guess? What would you deem to be more serious than another incident for somebody?
So in general, I like to see someone who they're bothered at least 80 to 90% of the time by the floaters. They've been there for at least 6 months because some floaters will symptomatically get better even though they don't disappear.
Yeah.
And then in general, we like to see those patients who have already had cataract surgery. And the reason is the procedure that we just saw, actually called a vitrectomy, can cause cataract. So if you're a young 28-year-old, 29-year-old person who has a bothersome floater, for 5 or 10 minutes out of every hour, we won't do that because we're more likely to cause you a problem by removing the floater and causing a cataract than we are to help you.
Oh, okay.
So if people at home are thinking, maybe I need to take some action here and look into their floaters, what type of doctor do we need to see?
Yeah, so I think the first stop is really with your eye doctor. Go in and say, hey, you know what, this has been bothering me, I haven't mentioned it, or maybe I mentioned it a couple visits ago, but I'd really like to see about having something done, particularly if they've had cataract surgery or whatnot. And then their eye doctor will look in their eye, confirm that they have the floaters, and then usually will refer them on to a retina specialist.
Well, we appreciate you coming in here today to tell us all about it. And if you are having those symptoms, see your eye doctor. We have Retina Associates of Kentucky right here. You have patients coming from across the country, even other countries, to see you guys. So we have wonderful specialists here in Kentucky. All their information is up on the screen. John, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you so much.
And stay with us. Up next after the break, we have your What's Poppin'. We have Beyonce taken down on the Billboard charts. That's next.